Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports, coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C. And them good old boys down south, I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond, in London, England, as well as Paris, France. Of course, you good old boys in Canada, we love you. In Africa, the Big C tribe. But there's no one we love more than the good old boys down south, in the land of the free and the home of the brave. And I gotta say, a special request to our Latin American audience.
Hola, yo soy Sandra y saludos a todos nuestros fans de Big C Sports en toda Latinoamérica.
Amen to that. That's real live, Big C, coming to you from Southern California. And I would really appreciate our Latin American audience. Big C, how's it going for you good old boys down south?
Hola, Charlton. Bien too.
Just poquito, baby.
Down here, man. You know, have to brush up on my Spanish just a little bit. You know, I'm a little rusty. I guess we're going to be a little more than going just to a restaurant now.
Yeah. No, I love Southern California. I tell you. I tell people we have people listening to Big C Sports from Latin America, and now we have someone from Latin America. We're here downtown Los Angeles, but she's actually following Big C Sports, and they know about Big C Sports in Latin America. So we're saying, Trump, don't build that wall. Today is a beautiful July the 11th, 2019, and if we say Grando Deportes again, really want to say again to all of our Latin American listeners, not only did we just talk to you, we'll put someone from Latin America on the Big C Sports program, but Big C, I know a lot's going on in the sports universe. We had the ESPYs here in Southern California last night, and so many of the stars came out. They were really congratulating, like the athletes of the year. They were talking about, the soccer team that just won the World Cup. Megan Rapinoe again, when she talked about social injustice and how she wants to make sure that people have opportunity at Big C. They gave her a parade. Colin Kaepernick lost his job. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, that's the social justice that we have in this country.
Yeah.
That if you're a person of ethnicity, no one wants to hear you. They want you to sit down and be quiet. But if you look like mainstream Charlton, they have to accept what you say. How do you tell a person of Anglo descent to shut up and get out of the country?
Yeah.
Where do you ship them to, Charlton?
Yeah.
So I understand the vitriol and the backlash versus African American and minority athletes over time, Charlton. It's been a staple of America. And so this lets you know where the political and sports climate is, Charlton.
Yep.
That they want to hold African-American athletes hostage to whatever that they can, not give them the right.
Right.
It's even like the cry back now, Charlton, about free agency in the NBA. As the media is talking about, no, they got to go there because of Zach's contract.
Yeah.
Many African-American athletes show them, no, I go where I want to go, regardless of the money.
Yeah, it's always important. And just the real thing that I like is just being real. We talk about people who have issues, no matter where you are. Just talking to my friend here impromptu from Latin America, there are people going through issues. We talked about the border wall and Trump, and here's a proud American, family's been here many years, but she as a person of color is nervous about even going outside, Big C. There's a national hotline for people going through some issues. It's 800-273 8255. That's 800-273-8255. If you want to text, a lot of teenagers don't pick up the phone, they text. But it's 838-255. That's 838-255. Call that number if you need some help. But I want to just touch on one thing, because as I was talking to my friend from Latin America, and I thank her so much for being an impromptu guest on Big C Sports, and we were talking about sports and politics. And you know, Big C, how a lot of people say sports and politics don't mix. I do want to say this show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac leaders, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you, as well as a fleet of Cadillac cars. But Trump, POTUS, they canceled that tournament at the Trump Golf Course in Doral, Florida, Big C. Now, this was ironic because I heard you telling me about it. Then I was hearing some things on CNN about it. And it was sponsored by a Miami area strip club, which will allow players to pay for dancers and also have them, serve as caddies during the tournament. In the Me Too movement and all this push on xenophobia, I just think that's a bad thing, but I'm glad they canceled it, Big C. But why did they cancel it after they booked it for a reason, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charles, what type of caddy? Were they going to be carrying the golfer's sticks, I guess?
I guess.
When you look at it.
Yeah.
Here it is. You know when somebody books your golf course.
Yeah.
And they reserve it, and they put out flyers, so that it wasn't new, Charles.
Right.
They did print media on this golf tournament. So the president's company was aware that this was sponsored by a Miami-based strip club.
Yep.
But once the media got a hold of it, basically the Washington Post, to let them know that POTUS was still dabbing, in women illicitly. I mean, they wanted to say that the president doesn't deal in this type of events. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we know that in the early '90s, the president was at a golf tournament in Lake Tahoe.
Yep.
Where he paid $130,000 for that round of golf. Okay.
Daniel. Yeah.
It was only $450 at this tournament they were going to have in Doral. So what a bargain to be at his personal club.
Yeah, that's true.
As we look at this, and the president's corporation and the president say they were naive because he has so many things that goes on in his life. Yeah. That he's not aware of what's going on all of his properties. I see that as one of the typical misleading statements that the Trump organization and presidency has made during this time. But his friend Jeffrey Epstein had just been arrested on sexual human trafficking again. Yeah. He had already been arrested down in Florida. He's a very close friend to Trump. Yeah. The president, prior to becoming president, had did an article in the New Yorker magazine years ago, saying that he and Epstein were two of a kind. They both like beautiful young women. Yeah. It's just Epstein liked them younger than him. Wow. So, I mean, here it is. He was advocating for a pedophile back in an article back in the New Yorker magazine some years ago, Charlton. Yeah. But, the president to say that he doesn't do these type of things or engage in these type of things, this is a sporting event. Yeah. Held at a golf club, Charlton. Yeah. That the president owns. Yeah. That is trafficking in sex, okay? Yeah. That's what they're doing. So to say that the president's hands are clean, I don't even know how his backers can say that.
It's unclean hands. When the sports and politics don't mix, but you have POTUS having a tournament with strippers. I mean, you guys just got to Google it. Don't worry about what we say. If we say something you can't Google, don't believe us. But if you can Google it, it might be true. I want to also talk about the ESPYs here in Southern California last night. And for anyone that thinks they're having a hard time in life, maybe you got back pain, you got some foot pain, or you just got pain. Maybe you got pain from your relationship. You may have pain from your job. You may just have pain. There's a gentleman by the name of Rob Mendez. He's Prospect High School up in California. He won an ESPY award last night. If for anyone complains about aches and pains, he has no arms and no legs. He's in a wheelchair. He needs help even opening doors. And he was given an award last night. Rob Mendez. Just want to say to him, congratulations for continuing to fight and just be a leader. I mean, you lead by example. Big C, have you ever had aches and pains? At least you could scratch them. If you have an itch, you can scratch it. What kind of respect do you have for a football coach who's not laying up in a hospital? He's still living his life with all of his issues. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Coach, I've seen Coach Mendez on a documentary, Charlton, and he's a very aspiring young man. Yeah. To see the challenges that he faces in life, Charlton, but he doesn't look at them as challenges. No. We as Americans have been born to complain about everything. Yeah. Coach Mendez is totally dependent upon others for his survival. Yeah. He lives with a family member who helps him in and out of every physical situation that he has to be involved in, Charlton. Yeah. But he guides these young men, and when you're as a coach in his disability state, Charlton, when you're out there, you're such an inspiration to the young men and youth of America. Yep. Because they look at this coach and they say, how can I quit? How can I give up? Yeah. I have opportunity. His life is limited to what he has right there. But he is the driving force and the inspiration in so many young men, Charlton, to build character. Yeah. And that's one of the things that we lack so much in this society amongst other people, is helping others build character. So when you look at Coach Mendez, and the inspiration that he is to those young men in those high schools. And think about the opposing team on the other side of the field, Carlton. Yeah. He's nothing but an inspirational person. Oh, yeah. We've talked a lot about the Special Olympics, throughout the world, the last one, the Invictus Games, and things of that nature, Carlton, where we have challenged athletes that are participating. In this situation with Coach Mendez, you have a challenged coach, who doesn't have arms, who doesn't have legs, who operates his wheelchair with his mouth through a joystick. But his vocal cords are very strong, and his mind is very strong, Charlton. And that's what gets a person through life. Is what's the capacity of your mind. Coach Mendez is an inspiration to everybody. I mean, they celebrated all the great athletes at the ESPYs last night. But all of that paled to Coach Mendez and his accomplishments.
Well, just amazing, because after you hear, I mean, there are a number of athletes that got acknowledged last night at Big C, and so many of them have they can do anything. They can fly around the country. They can do everything on TV, radio. They can play sports. But they have someone that is very limited in his capacity to move around, but he's not limited in his mind and being able to see and to visualize. And I hope a lot of young people will latch onto that as opposed to who signed the $150 million contract. I do want to also say to some of the top guys, top athletes that won ESPYs last night, you look at Patrick Mahomes, best NFL player, also Giannis Antetokounmpo, best male athlete and best NBA player. There was Christian Yelich, best Major League Baseball player, and then Brooks Koepka, best male golfer. So congratulations to all those great players. But Big C, they compel in the mental toughness that coach has that wasn't able to do anything at Coach Mendez. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, those athletes are not challenged in the way that he has. They have the ability to consistently improve their bodies and their life. Coach Mendez's quality of life is what it is. It's been the same way for the past 30-plus years. But these athletes are going on to greatness and riches and stuff, to live the way that they want to live physically and mentally. Coach Mendez is going to be limited the rest of his life, the way that he lives, but he's not limited mentally, Charlton, and he's a great inspirational person.
I just want to say congratulations. And the next time you have aches and pains, just Google Coach Mendez, Rob Mendez, Prospect High School. I think he should be an inspiration to everybody, no matter what you're going through. Also, Big C, as we look at Wimbledon, we have some great matches coming up in Wimbledon with Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer. I won't really get into who won what because people want to listen in different times and they Devo or DVR, whatever they do to watch it. But when you think about some of the top top tennis players in the world, some of the top golfers in the world, NBA players, NFL players, most of these guys do it with a team. Only golf and tennis are you out there on your own. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, it's a demanding sport mentally and physically with both of those tough. Because the challenge is you and the surface that you're on. We talk so much about team sports and they revel and get all the attention in America. When you talk about golf, you talk about tennis, you talk about boxing. These are individuals that are on their own. There's nobody say, hey, time out, we're going to get you a break. There's nobody say, hey, okay, come in for me for a couple of plays stuff. You have to stand the course of the challenge that you're in, whether you're physically tired or mentally tired. But that just shows the fortitude of those tremendous athletes, Charlton, to be able to accomplish that.
I want to get just a thought on things because, it's hard to just look at Coach Mendez and then go on to something else. But oftentimes we have to do because the clock keeps ticking and it doesn't wait for anybody. Time doesn't wait for anybody. What's the state and how? And we don't even know the answer to this question. But I just want to say this again because I know dealing with people that play sports, me, myself as well, there are times when people let an ache and a pain keep them out. They'll let a back pain or a hamstring. You know how the NBA Finals had so many calamities on the Golden State Warriors. Here's a man that didn't have limbs to pull a hamstring. He didn't have arms to crack a finger or break a forearm. I want to just get your thoughts. Have you ever met someone with that type of mindset that was able to coach young men to keep believing and keep trying? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I've met many Special Olympic athletes that have had physical disabilities and challenges. And when I look at those young people, Charlton, that I've met over the years, and I admire and inspire where they are, it defeated any challenge that I'd ever had in life. And that's how you have to look at it. When you care more about others than what you care about yourself, unconditional love, that's what Coach Mendez is. It's like the love of a parent to a child, Charlton. You'll give all that you can to ensure the health and welfare of that child. And that's how Coach Mendez is. Athletes are selfish, and it's always been that way. Because you would not hold out for a contract, you would not demand more money and all these things. Coach Mendez is not there saying, well, you got to up my salary for me to coach these young men. He is an unselfish individual, and that can't be compromised in any way.
No, I really appreciate that. I'm telling you, there's something about the Jimmy V, the Valvano. Remember, don't give up, don't ever give up for people dealing with cancer. And here's a guy that doesn't even have limbs, and he's doing his thing. I also want to just say, very much appreciative of some of our historical figures in society. Bill Russell, he received the Arthur Ashe Award for Courage last night, Big C. And when you think about how much Bill Russell's been through, not only as a social activist, but as one of the greatest basketball players in the history of the universe, the great Bill Russell, still standing strong. I know he has aches and pains like all of us, but just give me your thoughts on this man's history, not only as an athlete, but as an advocate, Big C, your thoughts.
Well, when you think about Bill Russell, he's the most decorated basketball player of all time, Chuck.
Yeah.
So, that stands alone by itself. But his activism in the civil rights movement, Charlton, went above and beyond. When people talk about Colin Kaepernick, think about if Bill Russell had been treated like Colin Kaepernick in his time when he stood against social injustice in America with many other black athletes of the 60s era, Charlton. He was in the forefront. He didn't hide in the background like so many great athletes do today, saying, well, it's not my challenge because I'm a multi-millionaire. He used his voice, he used his fame to be an advocate for those people that were less in power. And so that's what I think about Bill Russell, even beyond the aspect that he was the most decorated basketball player of all time, is what he did for social injustice and using his platform, that sports platform, to make other Americans aware.
It's amazing because what Russell did, what Ali did, I know there was a picture with Muhammad Ali, there was Malcolm X, there was Jim Brown, there was Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar back in the day, and there was other political activists.
Bill Russell was in that picture.
Bill Russell in that picture as well. But what was missing is what happened with Megan Rapinoe, with the United States, world champion soccer team. USA, USA, USA. Even going back to Tommy Smith, when they protested against inequality, they loved America. That's why they fought. If you love someone, you chastise them. You correct them. If you love your child, you correct them. You don't ignore them. You correct. If you love your country, you try to bring issues to the table that will make it better for everybody. So Megan Rapinoe, I love her social consciousness. But as a white girl, she did nothing different than Lou Alcindor, Kareem back in the day, Muhammad Ali, Tommy Smith at the Olympics, most recently, Muhammad Ali and Colin Kaepernick, so many other players. She's the only one out of all those great iconic figures, Big C, and people can Google this, that was given a parade she took a knee during the national anthem in a soccer event. She did it to bring attention like a lot of black men came before her. Out of all of them, Kaepernick still can't get a job, and she got a parade, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, when you look like mainstream and when you can blend into a crowd, then you're not looked at as going against the mainstream. That's what Megan Rapinoe is, Charlton. She looks like all of those people who broadcast on these events. You don't hear anything else about her taking a knee, Charlton, because they don't want to bring out that side of it. They just want to celebrate the glorification of winning the world title. So, I mean, it's what sports and politics is that you can loathe those who you don't like, and you can cheer on the ones that you care about.
And I just want to say again for Big C Sports, I'm actually here on vacation, but I love talking sports and politics because it's like the hourglass, Big C. It works every day. And I want to just say one thing, too. You told me last night that you good old boys down south, you said if bread doesn't have butter on it, it's not worth eating. I think you said that last night, Big C. You also said that butter's used for a lot of things. You cook steaks in it. Well, I tried using some butter to do like a foundation on my face instead of lotion last night. I think I'm a little bit sticky, Big C. Did I do it the right way, Big C?
Well, you must have used some cheap butter, Chuck. You got to put a little money on it. You got to get the good stuff. Get some clarified butter.
Well, I definitely will try to use a better kind of butter next time. Speaking of butter, congratulations to the ESPYs downtown Los Angeles. Just seen so many wonderful people that dress nice and people that are well-known. But Coach Mendez, man, you have all of my respect. I can't even say that I'm tough. And watching MMA and boxing throughout the years, just watching you as a man, have nothing but respect for you, Coach Mendez. Big C, Major League Baseball, it resumes tonight after the All-Star break with only one game unscheduled. That's the Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers, and then a full slate of games will come on Friday. Give me your thoughts on having, one state and then two teams playing in one game tonight. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, this is the state of Major League Baseball. Now the real season begins. We're coming out of an All-Star break. We've seen record numbers in the first half of the season, which is great for baseball. It's great to get the fans back into the stadium. And so we're looking to have record crowds the rest of the season, Charlton. We're looking at having record statistics.
Yeah.
And when you think about the Houston Astros, Charlton, they're right in the thick of the pennant race. They're one of the big three teams left in the major leagues, to go out and potentially capture the World Series. We expect for them to be in the ALCS.
Yeah, well, we talk about how baseball in L.A., I mean, the Angels may be in Los Angeles. They're really in Anaheim. If you've ever been to Disneyland, there's a couple of roller coasters. When you're in them, you can see, the stadium down there in Anaheim. But they call the LA Angels now. But they don't compete at all with what's happening in Southern California with the Dodgers. I know the Lakers are big news. The Clippers are so-so news. And then they're trying to make the Chargers, which are down in Carson, and the Rams news. But it's really all about the Dodgers. So when you say it looks like the Yankees and the Astros and the Dodgers and then everybody else, who could derail the big three, in your opinion, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, when we think about the big three and the records that they possess right now, I mean, it's a turkey shoot after that.
Yeah.
Minnesota is one of those teams that could potentially slip in. I mean, the Tampa Rays have played much better than all expectations, but they need a little more offense and some pitching help down in Tampa, Charlton. So, but baseball is wide open. We've seen the long ball, and that is propel teams.
Yeah.
There's going to be some trades before the end of this month, Charlton, at the trade deadline on the 31st of July.
Yeah.
That will put some teams in position. But those top three, and then I like Minnesota, I like Tampa.
Yeah.
When we look at the National League, I mean, Atlanta is a team that could potentially squeak in there also.
Oh, yeah, they're very good. But everything changes in life. Last year's World Series champions, the Boston Red Sox, they're struggling and most likely will miss the playoffs, and they don't have a chance to repeat unless things drastically change for the Red Sox. And we know that it can, because we're still not through August and then September and that hunt for October. But what is it about the hangover? It almost like karma happened when they won the World Series. They had to open the season playing up in Seattle in the Great Northwest. And fish are slippery. They've been slipping ever since. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, when you look around the major sports in America, all the teams that won the championship last year didn't have an opportunity to repeat that title. And here it is with Boston that may not even make the playoffs. So this is a team that got off to a bad start at the beginning of the season. After winning 112 games last year, Charlton, they may not even get to 90 this season.
Yeah, that's a shame. And I don't know what it is, but sometimes we hear about the Super Bowl hangover, the team that loses doesn't come back to the playoffs the next year. And it looks like Boston's trying to follow that for baseball. It's always great when the Sox are in at least the playoffs, if not the World Series. I want to just touch on a few more things that happen in the world of sports, because I really appreciate doing Big C Sports, even out on vacation. But I want to get your thoughts. And I just ask you this because we're in L.A. Kawhi Leonard only signed a 3-year deal with the L.A. Clippers with a player option for the 4th year. What happened to the max deal that the media said that he wanted? And like you've been saying all along, and very present, that's why I call you the Mystic. You said, Charlton, there's more money made outside of these leagues, especially when you're in these big markets. And Barber's worth $40 billion. I'm sure he can do what he wants to do with his own time, but why does he not care so much, like the media said, about having every dime he can get? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, the media painted the mural that black athletes are selfish.
Yeah.
And they're only in the game for money.
Yeah.
That's all they care about.
Show me the money. Yep.
Give me more and more money, and it's not that way. Athletes want to be where they're comfortable, where they can enjoy what they're doing for a living, Charlton. Kawhi Leonard wanted to come back home. Toronto could have offered him more money. He could have got $195 million in Toronto.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, he left $92 million on the table, not signing back with Toronto.
Yeah.
So they're saying that a black millionaire is not comfortable being a millionaire. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
When you listen to the media and the stories that they tell, and everybody talk about, well, Kawhi is being quiet.
Yeah.
You don't know what Kawhi is doing. Kawhi was making his own decision. Tell me what media broadcaster is coming on air every day telling everybody about his contract negotiations with his agent.
Yep.
And if he don't get what he wants, he's going to go to another city. He has 4 options when he comes on his broadcast.
Yeah.
I got 4 stations that want me. And I'm sitting here holding out for max money. If they don't give me max money, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
So when they start talking that way about themselves on television and radio, about that they're selfish and not the black athletes are selfish, then I will pay more attention to what they're saying, Charles.
That makes a lot of sense, Big C. And I just appreciate the fact that so many players have the option now. It's all about options, and when you have options, you can do more things in life. Of the 10 players in NBA free agency in 2019, thinking about it, the guys other than Kawhi Leonard that signed more than $100 million, only 10, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, that lets you know that it wasn't about greed. It was about being comfortable in certain markets.
Yep.
So many players, when you look at the number of players, Charlton, out there that were available for max contracts, if they stayed with their team or if they did not move, they decided they wanted to go what was the best fit for them socially and team-wise, Charlton.
Yeah.
Players evaluate who they want to play with, and that's what a lot of people are not understanding.
Yeah.
They think that players have to be in a certain market. They said, no. As I told you when I was a professional athlete, Charlton, when I retired from the game, I lost a whole lot of brothers because that locker room was a family.
Yeah.
And that's what you look forward to more than anything else. Being with the family that you were comfortable with. And everybody who has family, you don't get along with everybody.
Right.
That's something that you just don't do. But as athletes, just like with family, you generally hang around the ones that you're the most comfortable with.
Yep.
And that's what the choice these athletes make. Don't think about it from a team and game perspective.
Right.
You got to think about it as grown men being around the people that they want to be with.
Yeah.
Don't just look at it and say, oh, well, they go there and, they got the best opportunity to win.
Yeah.
No, only one team has the best opportunity to win in the NBA. In 2020, there's only going to be one NBA champ.
Yeah.
There's going to be 29 teams sitting there like, wow, what do we have to do next year to get better?
Yeah, it's always true, Big C. So I just appreciate, and again, I hear many of our commentators, even Commissioner Adam Silver, that I like. I like him for. I mean, I don't know the man, but he seems to be fair. But when he even mentioned that we have to do something about players, strong arm in the league and saying they're going to choose where they play, well, it is freedom of choice in the United States of America. And I doubt if anyone has ever said that a professional man in corporate America can't change companies. You can't change what stockbroker's company you work for, what bank you work for. I've never heard anyone say that a coach can't decide that he wants to leave where he is now to go to greener pastures, whether that's high school, college, or pro. So I just appreciate the opportunities that people have coming up, Big C. Going across the pond, Wimbledon's a women's final set. You have Simona Halep. She reached her first Wimbledon final, and she's going to play Sunday's championship. I think she has a match coming up with Elena Svitolina, and I think that's going to be on Sunday. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, no, she beat Helen today, Charlton. She is going to be facing Serena Williams in the finals.
Okay, that's
Sunday.
right. Thank you.
So that's the match that's set for the women's final in Wimbledon on Sunday.
Okay.
Serena Williams is going to reach the finals once again, Charlton. She is one match away from her 24th Grand Slam victory, which would tie her for first place all time, Charlton. When you think about where Serena has come back from, Charlton, over the past couple years after giving birth to her first child and now reaching the Wimbledon's finals once again, Charlton. She went into Wimbledon only ranked 11th in the world.
Yeah.
She has gone through all her matches, Charlton, and defeated. She dominated today. She could see the power that she had when she was on that all-grass court, Charlton. She is a focused young woman, and the thing that I look at with Serena is that she's relaxed and happy.
She is.
That's what a professional athlete needs to be. When we talked about the NBA players, that's what Serena Williams was exhibiting this morning when I was watching her, Charlton, is that she was happy and relaxed.
Yep.
And when she's happy and relaxed, she is the most dangerous woman on the tennis circuit.
Yeah, being out here in Southern California, that's where she's from. So just appreciate, there's so many athletes in Los Angeles, so many actors and athletes, entertainers, media people. I will bring up one story that I heard. I was thinking about maybe Southern California would be a nice place to live. LeBron James came here. Kawhi Leonard, he came back to Southern California. Paul George, he came back to Southern California. A lot of people want to Boogie Cousins moving in Southern California. Anthony Davis coming here. Well, sports and politics is real, so is news. So this morning I get up in LA about 4:30 this morning, and I'm watching some of the early LA news, and there was a neighborhood in Southern California where 6 people were shot. And I heard there was just one news station covering. But one of the residents said, the problem is that when things happen, people don't show up, people don't care. There was one news station that covered 6 people being shot in Southern California. I don't know the city, but I remember hearing it was a city in LA. And I want to get your thoughts because many, and this is being real, many news stations, they have a eugenic look, but here in Southern California it's more diverse. But when you have that many atrocities in one area, Why do more media people not show up, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I would think first and foremost the media is not going to be in a rush to get into an area like that if there's gun violence going on.
Yes.
But this also lends to the Second Amendment where people are talking about the right to bear arms.
Yeah.
These American citizens who are shot and gunned down by other American citizens were given the right to bear arms to be able to be assailants in these situations. Charlton, they're also protected by the First Amendment right.
Yeah.
You can make a threat against somebody, and until you act on that threat, it's not a crime.
Yeah.
So when I look at media coverage, I mean, you got to also understand in the large cities in America, the media has become desensitized to the shootings because they go on every day.
Too much.
And you know, if that's what the media is going to cover, then you're going to miss the good stories out there, Charlton.
Yep.
Crimes are committed because of lack of education. When you look at a situation like this, is this an educated person that's going out doing the shootings? Is this a college-educated person? Is this a person who is caring about other human beings? And so when you become desensitized, you know, it's like seeing a fat person in a restaurant. You're not sensitive to it anymore because they're sitting in a buffet line. You know, you want to tell them, why don't you eat healthy? But it's like, why? It's not going to help. Same thing when we look at the crimes that go on in this country. This is a great country, but we are more crime-ridden than any other country in the world because of that Second Amendment scenario, Charlton. So I can understand in a way. It's like, how many times does somebody want to be sitting up eating breakfast or eating dinner and watching bodies laying in the street?
Yeah, it's something that they don't show you oftentimes, just like going to Las Vegas. They tell you the glitz and glamour, but they don't show you the people on the street that live there, Big C. But that's all fair and living war. I do want to just say that national hotline for people going through issues, no matter what it is, 800-273-8255, 800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. I'm just reporting real talk out here doing the show downtown Los Angeles. Gentleman pulls up to me in a wheelchair, one leg, and it looked like he had been burned or whatever it was. Mainstream Caucasian guy, okay? So when people want to act like someone needs help, well, we don't want to hurt or help these people of color coming from Latin America. There are a lot of people who are Caucasian who are out on the street, Big C, and I just know that sometimes they put a different face on it. But that just happened to me. So I just have to let them know I'm still on the air. So, but it just happens, so it kind of grips my heart. But I want people to know you can call that number. It's out there. When you think about the most seasons gone by an NBA franchise that have never won an NBA title, look at the Phoenix Suns, 51 seasons. The LA Clippers, 45. They hope to change that in the next 2 or 3 years. The Jazz, 45 seasons. The Nets, look at Durant. He's not going to be playing this year. 43 seasons. The Nuggets, 43. And the Indiana Pacers, 43 seasons. That's a lot of time not winning anything, Big C. Your thoughts?
So, I mean, that just shows you how special the championship was in Toronto this year, Charlton. After only 24 years in the league, half the time that those teams were spent in the NBA, and they've ascended to the top, the best team in the NBA by winning the title. But this also shows you what does free agency mean and what does the draft mean in the NBA. Until you can keep a nucleus together for some length of time, Charlton, your chances of winning a championship are very futile. And so, as we've all talked, everybody in the media about which player is going to go where, which player is going to go where, those teams that you named, Charlton, only the Clippers really made a huge splash in the NBA by bringing in 2 superstars. I would put the Nuggets second on that list. You talked about the Nets, but they only got one player in Kyrie Irving. So what are the chances of any of those teams, Charlton, that you just named off? You named off 6 teams that have never won an NBA title. 2 of those teams made huge splashes in free agency. Denver was the second best team in the Western Conference last year, Charlton. Did any of those teams improve as far as their chances of winning an NBA title?
No, and I say not, Big C. I don't think many of them improved to have that chance to do it. It's all about who you get. It's about timing, and having someone like Kawhi Leonard going to Toronto last year helped a lot. I want to just look at another sport and how you can get money long term depending on who you are and where you sign and how things work out in your contract. Bobby Bonilla, he received his 9th payment of $1 million plus this week from the Mets. In fact, it was $1,119,248.20, and I hear he wanted it in nickels and dimes, Big C. Is that true, Big C? Your thoughts?
You know, when I think about Bobby Bonilla's contract, Charlton, over the years, I mean, one of the greatest contracts in sports history. Here's a guy, you just said he's in the 9th year of getting paid by a baseball organization, and he has not even played, Charlton, in the last 9 years. Think about that. He's been sitting at home, and he has an annual check coming in of over $1 million every year. And not only that, Charlton, He's still got 19 years of payments left to go on.
What a bargain.
So Bobby's sitting around collecting. I mean, he's out playing golf. He's probably out in the pool in the backyard.
Right.
Probably got a croquet set up somewhere around the house. But, you know, when we talk about baseball and the plight of Major League Baseball, we've seen some of the huge off-season free agent contracts that were given to players. And people are like, wow, are they worth that kind of money?
Yeah.
And you still have people crying about the savviness of a Bobby Bonilla to structure a contract and say, hey, I know I don't have that long to play.
Right.
But when I get out of this game from playing, I need to have an income for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
To at least get me to Social Security.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's going to have to take a huge pay cut when he starts drawing his Social Security.
Yeah.
But, you know, here's Bobby Bonilla, one of the most intelligent, salient athletes in the history of professional sports. Say, hey, structure me a contract so that when I'm out of the game, I'm still paid over $1 million for the next 30 years each.
Yeah, that's true, too. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go a little bit longer today. I know I'm on vacation. We're going to come up with what's called a Big C pause. We'll take that pause, and we hope you'll come back and join us, too. All right, we are back from the Big C pause on the Big C Sports Show. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on iHeartRadio podcast. You can follow Big C Sports on Apple Podcasts. You can follow Big C Sports on Google Podcasts. You can follow Big C Sports on Spreaker. You can follow Big C Sports on YouTube. If you have television at home, you can follow Xfinity Comcast, follow Big C Sports. What I really like is the app called Alexa. If you have Alexa, say, Alexa, play Big C Sports podcast. You'll hear from our sponsors. You hear me say, welcome to the show. I'll introduce Big C, and he'll do his thing. Really appreciate our sponsors for the growth. Big C, I also want that $1 million every month like Bobby Bo. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you know, that's the genius of having a great agent when you're in sports. I mean, we've heard so frequently about athletes losing it all, being broke, being destitute, shortly after they leave the game.
Yeah.
But here's the intelligence of a black athlete, Charlton, showing this is the proper way to do it. You know, I would love it if Bobby and his agent could get together and put together tutorials for the rest of the professional athletes.
Yeah.
And when they're in the contract negotiations, this is what you do. Don't worry about what you're going to get up front. Worry about what you're going to get after you leave the game.
You're getting paid 20 more years to go, 19 more years to go on this deal. So it's always fair and love and war. We love that, too. I would love to have that opportunity that Bobby Bo has, $1 million a month coming in, or even $1 million a year coming in. It's coming. Big C is coming. When players in the NFL hold out for more money, show me the money. Remember, it was Tom Cruise as Jerry Maguire and Lee Steinberg in that agency. I think Cuba Gooding Jr. also showed me the money. When players hold out the NFL for more money, and the media is crying that you'll never get that money back for games that they missed. They will never get that time back on their bodies. Think about Coach Bob Martinez. Now, he'll never get time back either, but he's keeps living his life. It's all about getting as much as you can, but it's all about staying as healthy as you can also. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you know, that's the thing that athletes look at, Charlton, when they hold out saying, okay, I need a restructured contract. Right. I mean, Julio Jones did that with the Falcons, and Arthur Blank gave him more money last year.
More money.
Le'Veon Bell, who was the most noted one, sat out an entire season. They're like, well, he's never going to recoup that money. You know, that's money he's lost. No, he didn't lose money, Charlton. He gets another year on his life as a football player.
That's right.
When you've taken a butt whooping for 16 games in a regular season, Charlton, that's not easy. After a couple of games, especially as a running back, you're not healthy in any kind of way. You're spending days in the hot tub, massages, and everything else that you can get, all the physical therapy that your body can go through, Charlton.
Yeah.
So as the media wants to sit up and blast these black professional athletes about holding out for more money and putting demands on these teams, Charlton, the team is not sitting there thinking about the athlete's body, Charlton. When an athlete gets injured, he has something catastrophic that happens to him, all of a sudden his career is over. They're like, well, you know, he's not going to pass the physical. The teams had that option all the time, Charlton, not to pass a player on a physical. So you have to, you know, do load management. They talk about that in the NBA, load management on players because it's a long season. It's an equally as long season in the NBA. So as these players do load management for financial dividends, the media is always blasting them, Charlton.
Always blasting them. And you know, with NFL Talk Big C, we're coming up on NFL football kicks off preseason games August 1st. The Denver Broncos at the Atlanta Falcons. And there are a lot of players that have to stay healthy, no matter how much money they have. I know you're looking forward to that as well, but that's a good-looking matchup, at least on paper, Big C, when you have Denver going to Atlanta to open up preseason. Your thoughts?
Well, the thing about preseason, the starters might get one series, might get two series in the game, Charlton, but this is an evaluation. You think about most of those teams are going to have to play 5 preseason games, so you're not going to put your starters out there for any length of time. Most of them will just put on a jersey and come out there in the stadium.
And play
so this is an evaluation time for second-year players, third-year players, Charlton, and mainly the rookies, to see who you're going to keep, because NFL teams only carry 53 players on the roster.
Yeah.
When you show up for this initial preseason game, you're going to have 85, 90 players that you're looking at.
Yep.
So you really don't have time to evaluate the players, the veteran players who have those guaranteed contracts.
Yeah, that's very true. But I also want to ask you something, because it's real talk. In the NFL's mode of discipline, why should the NFL discipline players when local police departments and jurisdictions don't? I just want to get your thoughts on that, Big C.
That's something that's always been curious to me, Charlton. Why is the NFL playing judge and juror when somebody is not charged in the public sector, in a local city or jurisdiction? Is it all of a sudden the NFL is saying, well, you need to be suspended for 4 games, 6 games for something that you were alleged to do? And the proper wording is alleged, because when there wasn't enough foundation by the jurisprudence of a local, police department or district attorney's department, Charlton, the NFL is saying, no, well, just because we're going to do this because we have power.
Right.
I think that's unfair, and I think that's one of the things in the next collective bargaining agreement is that the players need to, go out and negotiate, Charlton.
Yeah.
If you're not charged in the public sector, how can the NFL do that? In no other business company, module, Charlton, corporate America, if you're not charged, you're not going to get fired, you're not going to get suspended.
Right.
And even if you do get charged in the private sector, you're not going to get suspended or fired from your job.
Yeah.
But the NFL, I think, has gone overboard in doing this with the power of Roger Goodell.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about one more thing, because it is real talk, and having my Spanish friend that just met her down here in L.A., good-looking lady, athletic, fit, knows her sports, follows Big C Sports from Latin America, and we had some conversations about the wall, building the wall, and then about the Crown Act. Because in LA, you see a lot of people who bleach their hair. And you can tell because the root is not the same as the hair. But for people who did not know, and I didn't know even last week, Governor Gavin Newsom, he signed a bill banning discrimination against people who have their natural hair. Oftentimes braids, which relates to people of color. But in LA, you'll see so many people who bleach their hair a different color, whether it's blonde or whatever it is, and the root doesn't always match the outside of a hair, Big C. With the Crown Act, if you had cornrows or an afro, did you know they could discriminate against you? And we had that conversation. We meet with my Latin friend. If that's the case, in Los Angeles, there'd be a lot of people in media that would lose their jobs, especially women, because a lot of them are bleaching everything, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, that's one of the things that I don't worry about in life, because I don't have any hair to bleach. So, I mean, if I did bleach anything, I'd have a different color scalp. But, that's just another level of racism and separation in society, Charlton, when you start looking at hair as a reason to fire or not employ a person. Charlton, we have so many problems in this country that are far away from what reality is.
Exactly.
I mean, and when you have bills, you have lawmakers that spend the time making bills like that, Charlton. That lets you know that when you don't vote for the right people.
Yeah.
But you have to blame society, Charlton, when those things happen.
Yeah.
Because when you're lazy and you don't take your butt to the voting poll, Charlton, say, well, my vote doesn't count. Yeah, it does count.
It counts.
Because you can't get a job now because you were too damn lazy to go out and vote.
Yep, that's true. We have about another 3 or 4 minutes left on the show today, Big C. I just wanted to go a little bit longer because downtown LA is so beautiful. The breeze is coming off the Pacific Ocean. We're talking about life across the pond with tennis and the World Cup, and here in LA with the ESPYs. A lot of good things happening in the sports world. And I just wanted to say, I want to close out with this thought, because youth basketball, which I love, and AAU, is it damaging NBA futures with so many young players playing almost year-round sports? Big C, your thoughts?
Charlton, I think youth basketball is bad for the youth of America. When you look at all the injuries that are occurring now in youth basketball, and not only just in youth basketball, but in college and even NBA.
Yeah.
We just saw with the Golden State Warriors in the finals, Charlton. Look at the number of injuries that they had.
Yeah.
And what type of injuries were mainly suffered by these players? Were leg injuries, Charlton.
Yep.
We have seen so many stress fractures in NBA and college players over the last decade.
Yeah.
We've seen broken tibulas, Charlton. We've seen torn Achilles. We've seen torn knees, Charlton.
Yeah.
And that's because of load management. When these kids are forced to play in these AAU tournaments, Charlton, and these club teams, and travel all around the country trying to be noticed. Think about the number of hours that they're spending on their legs. And that basketball court, the last time I checked it, Charlton, was hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't give. You're running up and down on this hard wooden floor.
Yeah.
And for whose game, Charlton? The kids are not being paid. They're not being paid for their likeness. They're not being paid for these excessive AAU games, Charlton. Most of these kids also have a high school schedule that they play on top of the AAU schedule. So here's a 16, 17-year-old kid, Charlton, that's not in college, that's playing as much as 60 games a year. 60 games a year. While his body is still growing, the bones are not fully developed. So think about the stress that they're putting on their legs. We've seen so many players, once they get to the college level, Charlton, that have suffered these season-ending injuries that they can't play. Look at the Philadelphia 76ers who were working through the process. They drafted Nerlens Noel. His legs went out of the University of Kentucky. They drafted Joel Embiid. He needed surgery, Charlton, because his knees were bad. They drafted Ben Simmons. He had a broken foot. All of these players, Charlton, were AAU players. Not only were they AAU players, and they had this rigorous college schedule, Charlton. So by the time they got to the NBA as a 20-year-old young man, their bodies were already broken down.
You got to always stay in touch with trainers and doctors to make sure you're doing things right. I just want to say,
we saw with the Golden State Warriors where, Iguodala was saying that even though they dealt with the trainers, that his injury was misdiagnosed. And we've heard that from many athletes, Charlton. We have athletes on the football ledger, or on the basketball ledger, that said, I'm going out seeking a second opinion. I'm going to go hire a personal doctor. Because even though they're staying in touch with the team's physician, who is that? Who pays that physician's check, Charlton? The team does. The team is about winning, about getting somebody back out on the court or on the field as expeditiously as possible. So these players have become more salient now, saying, no, I'm going to seek out a second and third opinion. And Iguodala said he had a strain, and yet he told everybody he had a fracture.
We know you got to get your own opinion, whether your doctor or three other doctors, always get a second or third opinion. I wanted to say, coming from downtown Los Angeles on Big C Sports on a beautiful July the 11th, it's great being in LA. There's so much that happens in this city. I think there's over 20 million people in the LA Basin. I can see why the traffic is so tough to get around. But I appreciate how kind people are when I tell them we're on Big C Sports. Even from Latin America, people say hi. Oh, yeah, we heard about you, and gave a shout out to all of Latin America. So thanks for doing that on Big C Sports. I also want to say Big C. Curt Flood, when we talk about baseball players, Bobby Bowe, the Curt Flood, what he did for Bobby Bowe and everybody else, I just want to keep talking about Curt Flood every time I talk about baseball. Really appreciate him because he made it possible for people to get more money, especially in the world of baseball. Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man, and he would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young men rumble. Big C. What are you looking forward to in this sports universe?
Well, Charlton, we basically have one major thing to look forward to today, and that's the rebirth of the Major League Baseball season with the start of tonight between the Astros and the Texans. Getting it all underway. Tomorrow they're going to have a full slate of games, but we're also going to have the men's semifinals at Wimbledon. Lean back, have a cold one, and enjoy all of that.
And also, if you have butter, when you get down to the last part, don't throw it in the trash. Big C says you can use the wrap for skin softener. Speaking of skin softener, every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide. Follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C. And them good old boys down south, as we always tell you, there's never, ever an excuse for domestic violence. If you know any man or woman going through that garbage, please pick up the phone and call 911, because no man or woman should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.